You're listening to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday night edition of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. Sebastian Moran, good evening to you, sir, and it's good to see you, too. Thank you for popping in tonight. I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans, for allowing me to give you my hour tonight on this platform, UPRN Talk Radio. And I also have a Sunday night. Hey, Joe Fox, good to see you, sir. Welcome, buddy. I also have my show on Sunday nights, too, from 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. I also want to mention, too, that my friend, C.L. Thomas, man, she got a great podcast that comes on right after I do. Her podcast is... the Gateway Podcast, and it's great. She has awesome guests on, and she's just a good person. Hey, River Rose, good evening to you, and good evening to you, Michelle. Good to see everybody. But don't forget, we got C.L. Thomas's the Gateway Podcast, and please tune in right after my show. Yeah, CL's on tonight, buddy. Yeah, she's on tonight. But what the hell is happening in the universe? Okay, but before we get to that question, yeah, I do too. She's a good girl. Love her work, love her podcast, love everything about it. She's down to earth woman, man, down to earth. But how's your intuition? Do you have listening skills? Hey, Heidi, good to see you. It's all right. It's all right. You can chat with the banter all you want, man. That's cool as hell. He's good, dude. But much love to you too, Heidi. Thank you for popping in. But how's your sensitivity? Are you sensitive to things? Are you sensitive because you might be thinking or somebody might say something that could hurt you. Joe Fox says, I don't believe I have intuition. Okay. Um, Intuition is you trust your instincts, Joe, is what it is. And you pick up cues from other. Heidi says, I am. Yes, you are, dear. Yes, you are. My intuition seem on point. That's good to know. Okay. So how about your empathy? You can relate to others' situations and understand how they feel. So how's your empathy, guys? Heidi says she's always had it felt ever since. And River says too sensitive to energy everywhere, and lately it's all over the charts, off the charts. Yes, it is. And I know you do like to help a lot of people, if I'm mistaken. So if you're batting 5 out of 5 so far, Tom Barker says everyone has abilities but need to learn how to use it. True. Yes. And how's your creativity? How's your creativity? Do you set yourselves on doing some writing, playing music, planning for goals? What? Are you always willed or strong willed to go and do something that you want to that's out of this world? River says, been empathetic since I was 7 years old. And Michelle says, I feel other people's pain, grief, sadness, and joy. Hey, Scotsman, good to see you, buddy. Joe Fox says his creativity has officially died. I'm sorry to hear that, Joe. I hope not. So, all those things that I just mentioned to you, intuition, sensitivity, listening, empathy, helping, creativity. Now, let me ask you this question. Heidi has a lot of passions. I think everybody does, but we're afraid to express them. But let me ask you guys this question. Do you ever go to a party? Or do you ever go to when you go shopping or you're out in public and there are a lot of people around? How do you feel? How do you feel? Do you feel like the world just comes upon you? Oh, Michelle says her creativity has been dull. Sorry about that. Michael Angley, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Thank you for popping in, dude. But how do you feel when you're in with a group of people? How do you feel like just being around people? That's the question to ask. I know I can't deal with it. I have a hard time with it. Cassie Lewandowski says Breen Brown talks about untapped creativity is not benign. It's metastatic, great deep dive. Alda feels overwhelmed at times. Joyful depends. Joe says I just ordered organic lion's mane mushrooms to help with my creativity. I've read it works. And he's not kidding either. Never heard of those mushrooms before, my friend. And Heidi says, I tried 2 people. Well, all those things that I told you and I asked about. Hey, D, good to see you. Depends on the people and situation. I can read a room quickly. Good. So, here's the deal. Everything I talked about for the first 8 minutes, 9 minutes, you're an empath. You're an empath. Tom Barker says you learn more from listening than talking, better off sitting by yourself and paying attention to what others do. D-hoo. I volunteer or community center bingo night. I love the vibes. That's good. But you must be an empath. And let me ask you guys this question, okay? Being empathic, is it a gift or is it a curse? What's your answer? Personally, I think it's a curse, but in reality, it's a gift. And with me being empathic, it has gotten me out of many bad situations. D says, I am not an empath, nor would I want to be. Okay. Another question I want to ask everybody. Okay. Do you think we're born being an empath? Or do you think a higher being gave us this gift to be an empath? Cassie says, the older I get, more picky of who I can be around. My peace is my everything. Allows me to spot an authentic person a mile away. Heidi says, when I was younger, I worked at so many nursing homes because of that reason. Rever says, I learned a trick from an old palmist back in Sterling Forest at the Renaissance Festival. Put a Band-Aid over my belly button when in massive crowds to dull my sensitivity to everyone around me so I don't get overwhelmed. That's interesting. And Tom Barker says, depends on how you use it. Could be both. Joe says, I so look forward to your shows, buddy. Great subject matter tonight. Thank you. But I think it's, like I said before, I do believe it's a curse. But in reality, it's a gift. But I also believe that I wasn't born with it. I think it was given to me from a higher being. And the more that I learned how to meditate, the more I learned how to work in the field, it just became stronger and stronger and stronger. And I mean, I used to go out and do all kinds of crap. I mean, I was out the door every day of the week, investigating, out with my friends, going to places, doing things. But now I just want to be alone. Joe Fox says he seems to be gravitate towards empaths. Heidi says even the meanie beanie old people were fun, Michelle. Okay. River, it can be a curse and yes, also a blessing. And yes, I think I got it from not light beings. I was at the age of 7. Thank you for sharing that, River. But yeah, I do believe mine was given to me from a higher being. And for the longest time, I could not understand why. Until I really put my whole effort into my investigating. Tom Barker says meditation is the key to open up energy surrounding you. That is true. It is a key. So we're looking at today's world, okay? And how I came up with what the hell is happening in the universe is I got like about 6 or 7 text messages from dear friends of mine that are from all over the spectrum. All over the spectrum. And they said they had enough. They said they're tired. Yes, they're tired. I'm trying to find a towel because my brother said wave a towel and it scares the monsters away. A Hitchhiker's Galaxy to the Universe, that movie. Well, if you take your towel and start swinging it around, then you're protecting yourself from the bad guys. But I can't really do it. And River Rose says, yes, I felt that way yesterday, just exhausted. And my people are, I get these texts, but I can't deal with life anymore. I don't know what's going on, Sean. Please tell me. I wish I had the answer for everybody. I really did, but I don't know. So, and I will tell you that these people, my friends who have texted me, are empaths. Now, with all the changes that is happening out there in the world today, and I'm not just talking about the United States, I'm talking about different countries, stuff like that, all the problems going on, all the anger issues, all the trust issues. People don't know if they're coming or going. I mean, could it be that people are feeling? No, it can't be. They are feeling what other people feel. And it really takes a toll on empathic people, empathy people. Yes, it does. I mean, there are times that I'm at work and the store gets so busy and we have all the meat cutters there. Who are my friends? Who I consider friends who I work with in the meat room? And I got to get away from them. Tom Barker says over 99% of things you worry about never come true. It's a waste of time. Heidi says, oh, I have myself wrapped at all times. I've been ever since I can remind and have learned protection techniques. Well, it's true, Tom. You know, I'm at the point where I don't worry about things anymore. But you know what? I just can't turn my empath thoughts. I can't turn off this gift. There are many times I wish I could, but I can't. And the only way for me to get a little peace is to go away, is to go to a place where nobody else is around. If it's for 5 minutes or a half hour, an hour, whatever. I need my own place so I can recharge. Because no matter how much I recharge, the minute I get back out there, the minute I go to work, or the minute I'm out shopping or gold prospecting or I'm around people and stuff like that, it comes back on full force. Dee says, my philosophy is try to not worry about things I have no control over. That's a good philosophy. Now, Dee, I'm just told me about up to a year ago. I always worried. I always worried about everything. But you know what? But like you said, I have no control over it. So I have my own techniques, what I do. And for me, I just look at a big stop sign in front of my face and I'm like saying, stop, don't think that way. And it works for me. But I think with everybody's hurt and anger in the world today, all that energy from everybody going out there into the universe is causing a lot of havoc. You don't know if you're coming, you don't know if you're going. You don't know if that person that's smiling at you could, in a minute, backstab you or what, whatever. Do you want a mind bender, Sean? Sure. Yeah, that would be nice. But I think that's what's happening in the universe. And I think it's happening to a lot of people who don't understand what empathic is. And they keep asking themselves, what the hell's happening to me? Tom Barker said, everyone needs alone time. Get out in nature, ground yourself, walk around in bare feet, become one of the earth and nature. That is like one of the best devices I could ever, offer people. And Joe Fox says, at night, I worry about everything. And I understand that, Joe, about worrying about everything at night. But I know that I need to sleep. And sleep, helps me forget things sometimes. Hey, Sonny Mitch, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for coming in. It would take you an hour. Okay. Thanks, Mike. Heidi says, to dig deeper within one's soul to increase your frequency to ascend to level up. Michelle says, I agree with that. Very hard to control empathy. Dee says, I will say this, I really hug. I don't want others' energies and need all of mine to get by. And I totally understand that, Dee. I totally understand it. Like when I go to a restaurant, I always have my back toward the wall. And I'm always looking for the door, especially if it's crowded. I try to get back into the corner. Hey, Courtney, good to see you, hon. Thank you for popping in. Heidi says, to use your uncomfortable feels to learn from. True. And that's what I do. I put my back to the wall and I'm near the door. I look where the door's at. Because there's so many people in a restaurant and they're talking and their forks are hitting the plates. And I'm just like, leave me alone. So I try to put a barrier up at the booth that I'm sitting at. And I try to put a barrier up so I don't have to listen to people. Dee says, always back to wall to see the room. Yes. Dee's right. You have to. Donna Copus. Hey, welcome, Donna. Good to see you. I've been not feeling well. The only thing that helps me feel better is being alone in the woods. Always know the way out. Michael says, be glad where we are now because we are here and it's safer because of it. Tom says, find the positive in everyone and stop looking for negative and judging people. And you know what, Tom? I do that. Tommy Miller, good to see you, buddy. I'm doing great, man. Everything is well. I'm just like kind of understanding, trying to figure out why everybody is just kind of like not doing good. And I believe it's and I know, in fact, I know, and I'll take it to my grave. It's all the negativity out in the whole world just going up in the air. And as it goes out of everybody's, all the energy, all that negative energy that comes out of people, it just goes out there in the universe and it doesn't go nowhere. It stays. And it's a lot harder for empathic people because they can feel it. It's the shifting of the energies. Yes, Courtney, it is. It's definitely the shifting. And I believe, and I've talked this over with a lot of my people, a lot of my dear good friends, and that there is a shift in the universe. Heidi says, when I saw to use triggers as a learning opportunity, why does it make me it's a game changer? You know what, Courtney? There's a lot of stagnant energy out there too. Hey, Joe Fox. Weren't you just in here, buddy? I don't know. See, there we go. You know, synchronicities, as my friend Heidi would say. We have to work hard to transmute the negativity. Yes, you know, that's a good thing to say, Courtney, but you know what? How hard do you gotta work? It drains. Nice to meet you too. It's like, how hard do you have to work in order to block this shit? I do the best I can, you know? Steve, Mr. Wojo, I'm here for the good energy. I'd love to steal. God bless you, dude. You're a sweetheart. That's Mr. Wojo from bantering with Richie on their Bigfoot hunters. Heidi says stagnant, funky energies, lurking, lingering about. D says I miss living in the country. Totally different vibe than the city. I agree with you, D. But you know what? I have a problem living out in the country because I'm not used to the quietness and the peacefulness out there. But, you know, Heidi and other people use different techniques in order to help themselves. They go through this. And that, I mean, God bless them if they have to go and they do their techniques and it works for them. But sometimes their techniques don't really work for other people. And it's and I just wish that everybody in the world would understand about being empathic. Oh, that's what you miss about it. Okay. I don't like the burbs either, Heidi. I don't know where I like to be. Maybe up in my bedroom or down in the cellar or down in North Carolina, sitting by a stream and nobody around. That's what I'd like to be. And Courtney Lopez, it's correct. Nature has its own music. Just sitting out in the park and listening to the birds, listening to the crows, the cardinals, the blue jays, or even rabbits, even though they're damn quiet and they sneak up on you. The rabbits make some noise when they're hopping. Heidi says, I love the quiet stillness. And Courtney, we have to be able to listen. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but we did choose this. We always have to. Did we choose it or was it given it to us, Courtney? That's the question I put out there. Yeah, there is a lot of wisdom to be found in the silence, Heidi, but you know what? If your brain is going 50 miles an hour, you know, how do you know what's correct? Do you trust your heart or do you trust your brain? Courtney says, "Look, Courtney says, I live in a town where you blink, you will miss us. In the woods in Massachusetts. Hunting Bigfoot, dude. Squatching, Stephen." Mr. What? Tom Barker said, if you put out good energy, people will feel it and make you a more positive influence. Hey, Mark Eddy, good to see you. Courtney says, water is my healing. I also love to watch the rabbits. Tommy Miller says, I feel the world is going through big changes and all change is uncomfortable. Hopefully with time, more people can find peace and more things we agree on. Frater says, Frater Crow, hey, Frater, oh my goodness, good to see you, sir. I haven't seen you around for a while. Hope all's well. I'd love to form a cult commune in the deep mountain forest away from any other folks. I would be fine to never see humans other than the cult and group again, like the movie The Village. Heidi says, yes, was just thinking you can also go bonkers at the silence if your thoughts take over. And Courtney says, we choose to come into these bodies as spirits as we come in here as it's time to help uplift the Earth's energy. Hey, cryptids and general tidbits. Good evening to you. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the 30-minute mark, and so I'm going to take a quick minute break, and I will be back for the second part of the show. So hold on.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Okay, welcome back to the second half of the show, Into the Night with me, your host, Ron Kelly. Again, I want to thank Joe Montaldo and UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans. And just another announcement quick. CL Thomas, the Gateway Podcast, he's going to be on right after me. So please, if you're not doing nothing, go over and check out our show. So the definition of an empath is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. And so I don't want to do that. A lot of times I don't want to do it. And like I said before in the first part of the show, that I have no choice in the matter but to, you know. And you know what the sad part about the things that I feel, and people want to jump in on here and tell me what you feel when you feel other people's feelings, is that there's a lot of sadness going on. There's a lot of hurt. No one's happy. Everyone is, Courtney, that other show, the Gateway Podcast, it's right on UPRN Talk Radio. Right, the same link you got to my show will be the same link to her. But if you go to YouTube, go to the CL Thomas Gateway Podcast. If anybody out there, Joe or Heidi, if you can put the link into the chat room, I would appreciate it for you. And I'm sure CL would be the same way. But yeah, what's your feelings? Don't you just want to wish that everybody just be happy? Go into a room and everybody's happy. You're welcome, Courtney. Just be happy and talk positive. But here's my question for that. Now, see, I always come back with another question on what I think would be a good thing to do. Yeah, CL show, hon. Can you put a link in the chat room for that? I'd appreciate it. Thank you. But I always have a question that comes back to, like, well, what if there is no, that could be a happy room, but you know what? There's always that one person that's looking at to either hurt another person or try to lie to another person. It's just one big nasty ordeal is what it is. Tom Barker says happiness is a choice. Much easier to be sad. Put yourself first. Yeah, CL show link, babe, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. But so like Tom says, put yourself first. And you can do all that. And Tom's right. Everything Tom has said in the room tonight is true. You can't worry about other people. Above is hers. Okay. Um, so that's why all this crap is going on out in the, that's why the universe sucks today, in my opinion. Mark Eddy said, thanks, buddy. Mark Eddy says, that's why I watch Into the Night. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. So when it comes to my show, I try to make it a happy show. Thank you, Joe Fox. Appreciate it, buddy. Joe got it up there. The link that Joe put in the chat room is how to get to CLs. But I just lost my train of thought, but that's okay. But I just got it back again. But here's the deal with that. You know, in my shows, I try to make it a happy show. I try to put happiness and I try to put good feelings toward the different things that I talk about. Like I tell everybody in my chat room here tonight, I'm telling you, they're my angels, and I'll take that to my grave. They're my angels, every one of y'all. Heidi, Mark, D, Joe, Mr. Wojo, everybody. And that's why I get my peace 2 hours a week, and that's here being on my show and doing my show. Joe's not in our chat room. Oh, no. Oh, I thought he was. Oh, he's on the Facebook one. D says, my dad used to say, tell me about your friends and I'll tell you about yourself. Agree, D. D Hoot, I'll read that again. My dad used to say, tell me about your friends and I'll tell you about yourself. Ain't that the truth? And D, you know, I really like that. And I like what your dad used to say. And it's true. I don't have too many friends out there. I have many acquaintances, a lot of great acquaintances, and that's what I have. And I feel like it's and I have a trust issue with people. I don't know if anybody else does, but I have trust issues with. D Hoots of Gifts, Mr. Wojo says, and she is. Courtney Lopez, keep your spirit high. Send the negativity back to where it comes from. Michelle says, the notification gateway just came through under Pittsburgh Paranormal for me. Well, at least it's out there. And I do try, and we all try to do that. Now, I wish other people would be here in the chat room listening to all this great advice from people that, you know, tell you, you know, push back the negativity. You know, take care of yourself first. Go have fun. But we're just like a period mark compared to all the people out there in the world. And in order to conquer it, I believe, is that you need people who understand what we are going through to help us, to have our backs. Even though we're not around and we hardly ever see each other, the only time we see each other is for 2 hours a week. We got to have each other's backs so we can get through this. Do I think that the world's going to get better? Eventually, maybe. Do I think that the shift in the universe is changing for the good? I'm going to have to do a show on that. Seriously. I'm going to have to get some people who know and talk about the shift energies in the room. Heidi says, yep, either International Public Radio or Pittsburgh Paranormal Society for C.L. Thomas. Thank you, Heidi, for doing that. Thank you, Joe Fox. And Heidi agrees. We have to have each other's backs. We can't do this alone. No matter how hard you try, you can't. You need people. And that's how it's going to work. Mr. Woja says, oh, yeah, Mr. Woja says, helping others is a way to help bring positive energy. Yes, sir. Tom Barker, again, another nice thing. Be that best grain of sand on the beach. Sweet. Oh my God. We're going to have to replay this all over the world so everybody can hear it, can actually read this. Having great advice from people. It's awesome. Karma. What comes around goes around. Karma is my favorite word. You know what I mean? But if we show good karma to good people, then the karma will just come back even better for us. There's a lot of people out there that have bad karma, and it's not good. But I don't want to talk about that now. I don't want to talk nothing bad because I just feel so good that a bunch of us that are in this room right now are just expressing and showing their love for another person, and it's great. Courtney Lopez says, this is why I am thankful for the technology. Like-minded people can find the minded people. Dee says, at 63, I am more aware of things happening in the world today. Again, only doing YouTube and no other social media helps me not get caught up in a lot of shit. I know, I'll say it, get caught up in a lot of shit happening. And it's true. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I do not really watch TikTok anymore. I can't do it. I cannot do it. River says, yes, it's about being authenticity present and giving our best, caring, giving away any way possible. But with that, for an empath, we still need to ground ourselves. Hey, Kason, good to see you, buddy. And that's true, River. That's true. We do have to ground ourselves. That's why we have, that's why you can ground by going out in your backyard and put your feet on the ground and push all that negativity down through your body and not through some Mother Earth can take care of it. TikTok is just, I don't know, can't deal with it anymore. I just can't deal with it. There's just too much negativity and there's too many fake people on there just to make a buck off of other people who cannot afford it. And it's sad. It's really sad. Now, I know there's other businesses out there that's on TikTok and other platforms, right? But on how you go by making money and doing different things is totally different. I mean, my God, I mean, I could go on. Would you all want to see me, like in a short, chest naked, whatever? No, God, no, I wouldn't do it. Cindy Mitch says, I left TikTok way too negative, so I just lost interest. And that's the truth. I lost a lot of interest in it. Hell, I don't even want to know what's happening in politics anymore. I don't want to know what's happening in the world. I don't care what baseball team or basketball team is doing this and that. I don't care. And you know what else is crazy? At Entertainment Tonight, that show, my God, they talk about what people wear. The dresses at the galas. I don't give a shit. All that does is it makes women sad that they cannot afford that dress. Or look how beautiful her makeup is. Or look at that necklace made out of all those diamonds and gems there. And they talk about it. I don't care. TMZ. Dee says, I had a life before, during, and after the internet. Just saying. Yes, me too. Tom Barker says, I practice random acts of kindness. Pay for random people's groceries or do something nice. Yes. Make their day and make yourself happy by helping others. I have had people hug me and cry in parking lots for doing something nice. And so have I, Tom. It's true. I have paid for other people's groceries and I'm okay with it. Or, hey, it's just, even by smiling at somebody, if you smile at them, they smile back. Heidi says, I've never been interested in any of that ever. I'll tell you a quick story before I can't go tonight. A long time ago, I worked at the post office and I was a clerk. I was a window clerk at the post office. And I mean, our window, it was tinted from the outside, but we could see from who's coming in. So this lady comes out of her car. Oh my God, she was ready for a fight. Oh man, you could just sense the negative energy just coming from her. And she was ready for a fight. And I'm saying, please, 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 don't let her come to my window. Please don't come to my window. What happens? She comes to my window. And I'm like, oh, hell. And before she could even say a word, I said to her, and this is true, I said, wow, your hair looks beautiful. Did you just get it done? And just that one line, that one sentence, changed that whole lady's demeanor. She had a smile. She was happy. You know, it was great. And just one sentence. If we could do one sentence to somebody and make them feel happy, make them feel like they're worth, you know, that negative's gone. So there's another happy person, which means more happy energy going out in the world. Heidi says, I've never been interested in any of that ever. Tom says, expect nothing in return and don't do it for selfish reasons. True, I don't. No one should. Sean, your beard looks Mr. Mojo. I love you, man. Look, Sean, Mr. Mojo says, Sean, your beard looks ravishing. See? Yes, it works. And that's how it works. A lot of great energy just left the room, my attic today. A lot of beautiful energy in this room tonight. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I am so grateful for every one of you who are in the chat room every week. I'm very grateful for the people who listen to this show in the other countries. And I'm very grateful that I am allowed to share my experience, strength, and hope with y'all. Dee says, for many years I was a loss prevention officer in retail. I spent years watching people shop, interact, and steal customers' employees. I think I'm tainted. Oh, God, that's a hard job, Dee. Cassie says, I deal with the public for a living, and one of my favorite things to do in the secret game line to see just how many people I can change their energy. I have never failed in the smiles now. My boss gets told all the time how wonderful that lady at the front always is. Oh my God, yes, I'm there. And they focus too much on how people look. Oh my hell, Dee. It's true. It's true, Heidi. Then Cassie says, I can't imagine ever meeting someone with anything other than love. Mr. Rojo says, amen, brother. Cindy, I appreciate you. Sean, I appreciate you all too. But Dee's right. He's right. And if someone goes up and gives you like, hey, he was a nice guy. He taught me how to do this and he showed me what cut meat to use. They usually give me a $10 gift card and I don't take it. I give it back to them. I usually tell the boss, I say, hey, listen, I don't want to give it to somebody who needs it. I do. Or if they said I won't, then I'll find somebody that does need it. It just makes the world go round. Makes everybody happy, and that's what we need is happiness in today's world. Donna says, always help all you can for as long as you can. Pay it forward with a smile. You know, I'm going to leave you on this note. My mother told me a long time ago, and I lived to it today, and she told me this a while back. She says, For every good deed that you do for a person, there's a big book up in heaven with your name in it. And every time you do that good deed, there's a check mark next to your name. And if you get a lot of check marks, then you're going to heaven. I needed to share that with you, and it's true. And hopefully there's a lot of check marks when I see that book when I die. But one more thing. Dee says that was in the 80s. I now retired from working in special education and care for a medically fragile young lady. God bless you, Dee. God bless you. You're an angel. But on that note, thank you all for listening to the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you got a lot of good stuff from people in the chat room, all the good advice. It's always nice to have my angels hanging on in here. Children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you have no children, and if you have no parents, find somebody, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And on that note, don't forget, C.L. Thomas's The Gateway Podcast is coming up right after me. On that note, good night, everybody, and see you next week.